Abrasive. Welcome to Evilive, the live media commentary show that answers the question, how can you actually play the devil's advocate? Is it someone or is it yourself? And then do you have to be in private? Subscribe if you're new to the channel because today we are reviewing What We Do in the Shadows, Season 4, Episode 4, The Night Market.
Yes, indeed.
My man, what are your initial thoughts of this one? Oh,
I fucking need to find this place. Because if there's one in every town, there has to be one in Ogden. And if there is one in Ogden,
there's definitely one.
Bonkers as fuck. And
I thought it was Ogden.
I probably like somebody finally tapped into the underground, like they broke down the wall. I mean, that's smart planning. And I need to go there.
I can't stop thinking about the parallels of what we just experienced with our camp and the, I don't know, validation of who should be on the train. Like, we shared similar lines of exploration that we'll get into here in a shit. Well, appropriately so. in a shit second. So this episode is directed by Yana Gorskaya.
Yeah, no, that's 100% how it's done.
Written by William Meny and Paul Sims, premiered July 26. All right, let's walk through this episode here.
This one is great because this is where we get the interactions with the Wraiths going on strike. Because apparently
unionizing.
Like, what the fuck is this shit? They got a nice warm utility closet to sleep in. Like, what the fuck do they got to complain about? Oh, you have to work for free all the time. Fucking crybabies.
Yeah.
But Nadja has to, of course, figure out some way to make them not leave. Because initially, the plan was, oh, they don't want to work? Okay, cool. Let's just fucking kill them.
Kill them all.
And then it's like, well, it's free labor. Probably should try to make them happy first.
Yeah.
And I love the interaction between... God damn it, what is her title again? I always...
The Guide.
The Guide. Okay, I always want to say it's like the custodian or
Kristen
some
Shaw.
shit.
Yeah, she's great.
I fucking love her. Like, as this series or this season goes on, she's becoming one of my favorite characters, like over the original troop, and it's funny as hell to me. But yeah, it's great because we get to see the interaction of, like, we know her dynamic with the Wraiths, but now we're getting her or the race dynamic with everybody else, and it's just so funny. It's cards, and the cards go to the guide instead of to the person they're actually talking to. That shit was funny.
I wish I could pull that off in my life.
Yes.
Just card talk. Like, and that's it. Oh,
card talk and also handwriting that's that good. My handwriting is atrocious.
Yeah, I'm like a doctor on crack.
Yeah.
It's just this all the time. I feel like the more I try to concentrate on my signature, the worse it gets. So I just give up and just do that.
Yeah,
I
mean,
it's going to be bad anyway. Why even try? What the fuck?
Well, if it's signature, it doesn't matter. It's just supposed to be something.
Yeah.
Like, hell, I've had people sign with dicks and smiley faces for their card payments. If the bank accepts it, I'll accept it.
I mean, after Prince, everything's open, right? Like,
pretty much.
He opened the door. Like, let's go in. Let's visit this. If you had to distill you to a symbol, what would that symbol be?
Well, I mean, I'd probably go with the penis because that's just fucking funny to me.
It is.
I don't know.
Would it be like a realistic or a super sketchy?
Oh, no. It would be 100% just like a single line. Whoop, whoop.
Two little dots in a long line.
Pretty much. It'd be terrible. It'd be like a child drew it.
I would hire the boy from Superbad that just drew dicks throughout his entire elementary career and just take one of those for each new signature I had to do. Just source a new dick pic for everyone. I think that'd be the best. All right, what are we talking about?
I mean, that's just reasonable.
It is. This is what we talk about when we unionize. Dick signatures. This showcases Nadja in a bit of a different light for me. I didn't think she was capable of organization. And that's not to sort of shit on her character, but her character's always been set up as sort of, trope of crazy woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's a bit aloof, if you will.
That's a very good way of saying it.
That's a PC way to say it.
Welcome to 2022.
Yep.
And so when she like proves that she's actually a savvy businesswoman, it's really surprising, and it makes me go, how come you couldn't use a laptop, and why the fuck are you guys having a broke ass house if you're this good at running a business? Like, Starbucks has nothing on Nadja. They're fighting with unions right now. All they have to do is take a page from this. They're good to go.
Yeah.
Take a trip to the
Yeah,
fucking
get them
market.
drugs. That's all I got to do. I mean, I know
That's the worst part of it.
personally, when I worked in the service industry, I would have shut the fuck up if they gave me drugs or booze.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, kitchens that I won't name that I worked in, I was an excellent employee because they would get me drunk.
Really?
Yeah.
I worked at a Pizza Hut. Don't sue us. Buy Pizza Hut. And the Russian, for some reason, there was just tons of Russian drivers in the place we worked. But I had a bottle of Jack Daniels that was sitting on like a top shelf, so customers couldn't see it, but it was just me for later, and wildly underage. And the manager came out and he was like, "Whose liquor is this on the top shelf?" And just some random Russian driver was like, "It is mine. Do not bother." He's like, "You can't have," like, he stuck his neck out for some rando 16, I think I was maybe 16 or 17 at the time, year old, just for fucking no reason at all. He didn't ask for sexual favors. He didn't ask me to wash his car. He was just like, look, you want to get drunk? I understand this, and I got your back. And he totally took the bullet for it.
So since we're already throwing Pizza Hut under the bus, that was the restaurant that I was talking about.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, like, I didn't have to worry about my boss getting mad at me for fucking drinking on the job, because it was that motherfucker, one of them. I won't name which one. But, yeah, they were getting me fucking drunk. It was great.
All right,
especially
kids.
closing. It'd just be like me, a driver or two, and the unnamed manager. And yeah, it was just a fucking party. We got out on time every fucking night.
Amazing.
Everybody was delivered on time. No complaints. And we were all drunk.
God. Kids, if you learn anything from this, work at Pizza Hut for a little bit.
Pizza's the fucking shit.
It's awesome.
That's the only way I lived for the like year that I worked there. Is, I'm getting paid $6 an hour, but I get to take food home as long as I don't tell them? All right, cool.
Win. And they had those massive arcade, like, tabletop games of Pac-Man, like,
Not
back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No, see, when I started, it was post, family diner atmosphere.
Right. Delivery only.
Yeah,
I get it. All right, what are we talking about again? What are we doing?
Well, now, Nadja has figured out her problem for the race, because, again, the race are trying to unionize. And God damn it, she is a smart cookie. She goes through some books and then has the epiphany. We're going to the night market.
Yeah.
And this is a fucking punk rock dream.
Best.
Like the idea of going to a flea market and everybody's currency is different, so you don't actually pay for anything. It's all about bartering and shit. Like, that just sounds like so much fucking fun. I wouldn't even give a shit what I walked out with. Like, I would walk in with a busted Star Wars toy and walk out with anything else.
Yeah.
And be happy as hell. Like
it
sounds so fun.
Tin toy or like a wooden toy. Do you notice on the way drive into our camp out, there was like a guy sit out there with like wooden toys as the name? I think it was Santa. Like, did you see that?
I didn't.
So weird. Just wooden toys. And it was like multiple tables full of wood toys.
Yeah, I absolutely would have stopped.
Fucking weird.
Just because that's weird and creepy.
I almost did, but I was like, I'm going to have to buy something if I stop. So I'm just going to move on. The over-under of what you're going to see being awesome is so slim. You're just going to feel guilty, and you're like, I'm here. I got to buy a stupid fucking toy. But what if? Because you don't know.
Well, I mean, that's the thrill of thrifting. It's just, you're going to see nothing but fucking garbage. But every now and then, you're going to find out one thing that made that worth it. Like, in all my years of only shopping at thrift stores, like, I found an accordion once.
What?
That's pretty dope. Yeah. I got a pair of 22-eyed Doc Martens for $40 because
Whoa.
they didn't know what the fuck they had.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was probably about it.
Wow.
But goddamn it, those finds are what makes you go to those places.
True that. Hell yeah. I loved the entrance to this goddamn flea market. This is like the world of dark. For those of you who played Vampire the Masquerade, role-playing games, or Werewolf or Mage, or there's like a whole bunch of them I don't really know about. But I remember Vampire and I remember Werewolf. This is the world of darkness they talked about. And that's part of what I love so much about this show, because when I think of like people role-playing games, I don't think of serious people sitting beside like actively role-playing their. I think of people just bullshitting and having a lot of fun playing a game. This is that in live action. Like, this is the real cosplay that would equal the role-playing versions that I played as a kid. And it's so beautifully put together. Like, to get in, it's just some seemingly homeless dude who comes in with a boombox talking about, hey, give me some extra money because it all goes to help. And he just plays a fart song.
Beautifully played it. Like, let's just add that.
It's true.
Perfect pitch. Like, that is shit to be impressed
Perfect butthole pitch.
and envious of.
I heard a lot of attempted music this weekend.
We were trying,
None
goddammit.
quite hit. Yeah, no, I'm not denigrating anything. This is just life. But I was there and I heard it, and none of it was as beautiful as this guy playing.
No.
And he was just like, all right, now that you're all still here, let's get to the
yeah, it's just so great. It clears out everybody. And like, that should be the first sign that Guillermo is a human, because he's the only one that's gagging and shit. Everybody else couldn't get off the train faster. And yeah, it just, God, that was so funny.
What do you think about the menagerie of creatures at this flea market?
Perfect. And it makes sense. Like, why wouldn't it just be everybody? And that was like the perfect setup too for the boy that crawled out of the chest cavity of Colin Robinson and Laszlo, because his new kick is now reading fairy tales. And Laszlo's like, oh well, these are all bullshit, and this is why. So
the real fairies.
Yeah, getting to go through with the fairies and the gnomes and all that shit's so funny. And then there's just a naked guy.
Because.
For no reason.
Because.
Oh, but there's a witch behind him.
What did you think of the ogre or the orc reference to Guillermo? You could pass for an orc.
I would be flattered. Just saying. Like, I liked, in some sort of bizarre fantasy of mine, like, I like to think that if I was a fantasy creature, I'd be like an Uruk-hai or something.
Oh, that'd be good.
That'd be great.
They're tough.
They're fucking tough as shit.
I sort of teeter-totter between satyr and centaur.
It's pretty impressive.
I think it has something to do with the big dick syndrome, but horse dicks, you know what
I mean, whatever. You could use it as a goddamn weapon. I mean, that's just practical.
That's true. You murder people with your gigantic horse dick. I grew up watching Fantasia, and that was like the best like scene that they ever did, was the satyr centaur like Pegasus little scene.
Yeah.
It was just like debauchery unleashed. It was sex and wine and God's wrath, and it was awesome. And I was like, I want to be there. I want to go to there. Yeah, I loved every little weird creature. It did start to feel a little bit Harry Potterish to me. I don't know why, in a world where there's vampires, werewolves, zombies, wraiths, and whatever else they've introduced us to, that this would be the point where I'm like, wow, this is too much. But I started feeling like it was a bit too much. When I saw that witch with the cage on her head, like
oh, yeah, no, that was straight up Harry Potter.
I was like, wait a second, what the fuck?
But it's like, that would just make sense. Like, because they all have to hide from the normie people.
Yeah.
The muggles, as it were.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was the whole shtick during Harry Potter. Like, all the fucking everybody else would hang out in the same places. So,
yeah.
It's like, it makes sense.
I fear that the broader of a scope of this sort of underworld that you unravel, the more convoluted this story can possibly become. And I really like the tight intimacy of the home, and sometimes they go to a club or a official city building or something. But it's really, really tight with these group of people. I'm a little bit concerned that the more you broaden it out, the more it's going to dilute the funny and, I don't know, my care of it.
I don't know. It's every season they have an episode like this.
Yeah.
And it's to, like, I understand it's to kind of break up the monotony of being in a single location or, just one or two locations. So I don't really see it being a thing again. Especially from the fight scene with Nandor and Guillermo. Like, so that, of course, the first time I watch it, I'm like, how the fuck are they going to get out of this? And then it's just that nice little blip at the end. Don't forget to take your familiars with you. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. That's the bookend of this, and it isn't going to happen again.
I felt like that announcer was playing a little Ryan Reynolds. He was doing...
Yeah, he was definitely Van Wilder.
Yeah. It's just a little bit, like a touch of fucking Van Wilder in there. And I was like, I'm not sure I'm believing this 100%, but I'm enjoying it. Yeah, let's talk about that, because ultimately when Nadja is going to look for the drugs in order to convince the race to do her bidding, Nandor is just sort of experiencing the joys of this place, and then suddenly runs across something he forgot about, and that's familiar fights.
Fuck yeah.
Which is basically bum fights from the 90s, except, not as egregious and exploitive. It's still pretty exploitive.
I mean, really? They die.
Yeah, but it's fiction. It's not,
paid. At least the bums got paid.
Bum fights were better than this, people. That's Absolutely. Your take home.
That is 100% what I'm trying
At least they didn't get their heads ripped off. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they broke bones or got teeth ripped out, but that shit happens.
I loved how many old, like, geriatric familiars there were fighting. Like, really? This is what you're, like, I'm just saying, if I was a vampire, I feel like I would want a strapping young familiar in order to be able to carry out the duties that, like take away the corpses, bury them in random places, bring the virgins. Like, you need someone of youth, of vitality, not grandmas and grandpas.
Yeah, but I mean, they have their use too. And they probably got them when they were youngins and
for sure.
Well, just kind of forgot about them.
For sure. Yeah. Because they treat them like you would be Nadja. Like, it's nothing. Like, you're a fucking familiar. Shut up and do my bidding for, as long as you live, and then I'll get a new one. Like, who cares? You're a pair of slippers. That's as good as it gets.
That's pretty accurate.
I love that so much. This fight, I thought was great. It was a lot of fun.
Well, I loved the whole build-up of the fight, because, of course, it's set up that it's going, like, it's going to be Guillermo and Nandor, because why the fuck wouldn't it be? But all the fights before were so awful that it just made it that much better. Like, especially the first one, because they're just sitting there, like, barely slapping each other, and then someone gets their head fucking ripped off, and it's over. Just so good.
Yeah. And I love the silent conversation, like, how are we going to get out of this? Oh, I got this. You just follow my lead. It's sort of like, I feel like we saw a lot of, that's pretty much like every fight as a kid. Like,
oh, yeah.
Is this for real? Are we really doing this? I don't know. Let's just fuck around for a while and we'll go back to class. Like, it's not a real fight.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and then the other thing that I loved about it was the interplay with the camera people. Like, it happens so often, but you forget that they're there. And then you get these nice little moments that remind you, hey, you're watching a documentary. You're not watching a television show. And it's just always makes me happy.
It's so great. I mean, like that first entrance of I think it was the first episode when Nadja comes back from England and she's like, oh, you guys are here.
Yeah.
And then she just goes, about the normal life. Like, they are a character, as much as we sort of vicariously live through what they're presenting us, they're still present and there, and it's nice to remember that from time to time.
Yeah.
And I just always love seeing, like, sort of Fight Club scene. I think that's fun. Definitely. It would have been really nice if they pulled out, like, a Brad Pitt type character just sort of like a callback to what Fight Club really is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That would have really landed home for me personally, but I really enjoyed that. It reminded me of like every sort of, like Lionheart, like every Jean-Claude Van Damme film from
Yeah.
the 80s.
Fuck yeah.
It's just like you go to a new town, you need a couple bucks, you meet some rich millionaire who introduces you to a fight club. They don't know that you're a jiu-jitsu master or a ninjutsu master or whatever the fuck he does. And you become a star, and then he sends hitmen after you, and like you save the girl in the end. Like that's kind of like every 80s action film wrapped up.
Hell yeah.
That was a little taste of that in this.
Mm.
All right, so then what happens when Nadja
Oh my god.
They're bargaining.
Okay, so let's go step by step.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's really not
It's
much
so
that she
funny,
got,
though.
but it's so goddamn
It's like
great.
a two-step, but yeah.
Yeah. So she starts off talking to some Valkyries.
Awesome.
And they were amazing. Like, I was dying the whole time I watched this the first time because they were just so stoic and serious, and it just, God, it was fantastic. But so she trades a vase that she stole from Nandor for a cup of meatballs and gravy.
Fucking Swedish meatballs.
Yeah. Because apparently that's all Valkyries sell. They sell meatballs or furniture. Who would have thought? And then she ends up trading that for a quite comical shirt. And I just love how that is what makes her not a cop.
Yeah.
Is that she has a comical shirt that has a curse on it. It's not even a good shirt, but the dude loses his shit over it. I was like, oh yeah, no, I totally got what you need. Here, just give me the shirt. She's like, no, I need to see it first. Because as she mentioned in the beginning of the episode, she was an excellent negotiator or barterer, which she got from her grandma, who, she sold only the smallest bit of her leg meat for an entire bag
fucking leg meat. She hacked off a piece of her leg for potatoes. What was it?
No,
onions?
it was a bag of onions.
A bag of onions.
Like,
it's like, what?
That's whatever. It grows back, right?
I looked at my leg. You can't tell, but my leg is right here. I'm like, no, it doesn't. No, I don't think it does. Yeah, that was the funniest fucking line of the whole thing because immediately she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing, and she comes from a long line of you don't know what the fuck you're doing, and yet she clearly knows what she's fucking doing.
Yeah.
Like,
no, she doesn't. She comes in like a goddamn cop.
But she straight up won in the end. Like, she got exactly what she needed. So, like, the whole time you're like, you're going to fail. What the fuck?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, it reminded me of a trip I did with a friend once, and they were trying to get hallucinogens from a store. It's like that was that interaction. It was, yes.
What kind of an asshole would try to get hallucinogens from a store?
Right. God damn it, Wes. But it's so fucking funny.
I'm definitely not a cop. Do you know of mushrooms? Have you heard of psychedelic mushrooms?
This isn't a concert, sir.
Such an asshole.
Punch that guy in the goddamn face.
I mean, whoever that was is such an asshole.
Yeah. Good times.
Okay.
But yeah, so then ultimately she ends up getting I don't remember what the hell they called it, but basically it's blue lotus leaf, but it's an elixir version of.
Yeah, it's water lily of the Nile.
There we go. Water lily of the Nile. Because apparently that's the only thing that helps wraiths not be in excruciating pain. Because apparently existence for them is pain.
Identify.
Yeah, I 100% identify with that as well.
Life is pain. Anyone who tells you different is selling you something.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Princess
but it's just so great. She comes back all nonchalant and is talking about, oh, I got you a present. And the guide is just losing her shit. Well, first she's like, oh yeah, I had plans last night, so it's okay that I didn't get invited. No big deal. But then, oh my God, somebody got me a present. That's so thoughtful. Nobody ever thinks to get me a present. And the whole time the wraith, and this is the unsung hero part of the show. these wraiths have two sets of like emoting parts, like their hood and their hands. But you got straight up crackhead fiending from this wraith, and it was so good.
It was catnip.
Yeah,
it was great. He was just like,
Yeah.
oh, but what?
It's like, oh, I don't have enough for everybody, but I might have enough for one that could possibly tell others what to do.
Oh man, it's so good.
It's just, that's how you do it. That's how corporations work with unions.
Yep.
And none of that has changed since the inception of unions.
Yeah.
It is terrible.
Anytime workers try to get rights, this is exactly what they do. Look, I'll give you a raise if you squash this union. And they'll trust you because they voted you leader. So.
And then the best part of it is this entire episode led up to that. Because, of course, then Xerxes is like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll get these guys in line. Just for the following scene, for the race to be coming after him. And you can tell he's talking like, oh, don't fuck with me. And then just they all circle him and he's just a puddle of blood.
Yeah.
And then ultimately she's like, fine, whatever, fuck it. You guys get paid Mondays off and I'll build 5 new utility closets for you. So it's like, that's all that was necessary.
Just making all of what just happened in the episode null and void, didn't matter. But we got to see their world, which made it totally okay.
Yeah.
And it was fun as shit. So, yeah, I always, like, the deeper we get into the season, I keep going back to the point of what we're watching, and it's just to fix the fucking house. I wonder if there's going to be a point in this season where we actually see the house fixed.
I've been wondering that myself, and I don't know, kind of 50-50 on whether it's going to actually happen or not, because you have all the money for something, but then that money could go somewhere else instead, and that's a lot more fun.
I would lose my mind, like literally lose my mind, and probably never stop masturbating if they did an episode with this old house coming in to fix what we do in the Shadows house.
You know, I would not at all put that past them, like especially with the cameos that we've gotten this season.
I would lose my mind.
Because like the next episode, fucking fantastic. Yeah, I really hope that happens.
Amazing. Just bring like this weird, crazy, like public television aspect, which fits perfectly with the documentary, you know, low budget thing. Like that actually does great work and cares about materials and fucking industry, into this ridiculous comedy mockumentary about vampires. I think that would be the perfect marriage. So please, we love you, What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
For this poor worthless soul, bring this old house into the show.
I could even see there being like a B story of the camera crews like maybe getting in a tussle or something. That would be so amazing. Would not work on any other fucking show. Period. But this show, that would be great. Like even if it was just an episode of that, like it's say like a 2 or 3 episode arc.
Yeah.
And one of those episodes is just the camera crews like sort of fucking stepping on each other's toes and then battling it out at the end. That'd be so great.
That'd be amazing. Oh my gosh. All right. And I want to go to the trifecta now. Because if we get this old house in this, because of the story, how can we weave in Bruce Bacon Show? Like somehow there's got to be like, maybe it's Paul Hollywood is a vampire. Something like,
yeah,
I would love to
obviously,
see.
who wouldn't believe that?
I mean, look at him.
Well, and you also got Noel Fielding, like he is a fucking
vampire. Yes, 100%, 100 times yes.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
that would be so great.
That would be the greatest thing ever.
I don't think television could ever recover from that.
I don't either.
Like that's what Happy Days tried with Jumping the Shark. But the opposite. So it would be like, just like that would be the newest term for all of the industry.
Yeah. Threes of people would die happy.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the 3.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would love that so much. But that's the glory of the show, is that you could literally throw anything into it and it would make whatever that other thing is infinitely more interesting and enjoyable. I mean, I didn't think I would enjoy watching a necromancer scatting in order to raise fucking Goonies.
Yeah.
And yet I did. Like,
Yeah.
I loved that so much. It was the greatest episode ever. It was past season, but loved it so much. Like, I want to see more of those, like, ridiculous things.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Like, this show is set
So
up to just, like, they can literally do anything
Yeah.
so off the fucking wall, and it's just going to be accepted from the get-go.
Oh, man. Now I'm actually excited for something that's never going to happen. That sucks. Oh.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I could see that shit.
Season 12.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed.
Ultimately, she does end up, again, as you mentioned, caving into the demands of the Wraiths in order to keep the club going. So we assume there's money coming in so she can fix the house at some point. And Nandor can't use his new penis because he just thinks of Guillermo the whole time. What do you think is going to come of that? Is he just going to burn another wish? Because that's nothing to him. He doesn't give a fuck.
Oh, God, no.
Or is he just going to keep it?
I don't know. I think the joke would be that he just gets used to it. But I don't know. With the coming episode, it's very clear that he has no problem just pissing him away. Well, and I guess we even got that in the beginning. Like, I want her blonde. Nah, go back to her original color. Just so fucking great.
I would love it if he started dressing his wife in Guillermo's sweaters. Like, just as, I need this to get done. I need to finish.
Oh my God, that'd be so funny.
So weird. All right. What's your favorite part of this?
Oh God. It's a toss-up between the Wraiths killing the Union leader.
Yeah.
And when she gets the Lotus of the Nile elixir stuff. Like, those are just so stupid and goofy and perfect in every way.
Yeah. Yeah, mine is the handing over the elixir stuff, but then the guide gets the box and she's like, this is for me? I didn't know anyone noticed I had so many brooches. Just a random throwaway line. And she's like, no, this is meaningful to me. I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh. That's so great. And then, Nadja's not even paying attention at all. She's all focused on the vials of his drug. Oh, I just love that so much. Did you have a least favorite part?
No.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
What's not to like about this goddamn show? It is so
It's
good.
perfect.
If you're not watching this, you don't really deserve to live. Like, because that means you hate life and funny and happiness and joy. And what kind of life
And
is
why
that?
do you exist?
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck. It's so good.
But more importantly, why are you listening to this show?
In general first, but
I
then...
want to meet that person.
That's true. You know what my greatest dream would be is we just reach out to the actors and they just agree to come on. And we just talk about the show together.
It would just be Chris Farley. You remember when you do that thing? That's awesome.
That's exactly what it would be.
That's all
like.
it would be. Or me fucking like crying because I don't know what to say.
I would just be focused on Nadja doing that floral like reality show competition.
Oh, I loved that show.
It was about one season. That's all we got. And just talking to her about that, and everyone else would be like, "What the fuck are we doing here?" I say, young man, why are we here?
And I'd be trying to figure out how to get Matt Berry to sign my albums.
If I sent prepaid postage, would you send them back to me, please? Yeah. Oh man, I just love it so much. All right, so if we had to give this a score, another 5?
Oh yeah, of course.
All right, me too. No surprise. Great show. Watch it. Enjoy yourself. Love life. Anything else you want to cover with us?
Nope, we got it.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. And I don't even know why I'm saying this because it doesn't land. I don't even know why I wrote it because it doesn't land. But Evilive is evil live backwards, which is why I have it spinning. And evil backwards is live, and it's also live. So live live, Evilive? I don't know.
Random Misfits reference.
Have a good one, everyone. Peace. I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh shit, it totally is backwards and forwards at the same time.